But here is Stephen A. Smith explaining why he's disappointed in Kevin Hart, why he has such a problem with what Kevin Hart said about him during that roast.
Pain, I remember walking in the rain, trying to find a way.
What's good, everybody? Today, y'all, we finna do a reaction, man, to Kevin Hart. Now, a lot of stuff been going on with Kevin Hart, you know what I'm saying, after the Cat Williams, you know what I'm saying, I guess exposed Kevin Hart on live TV on Netflix. But y'all, I really don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So we about to tune in, man. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button. Let's get to the video.
Stephen A. Smith finally got his revenge on Kevin Hart. He just exposed Kevin Hart badly. This don't look good for Kevin Hart at all.
Uh-oh.
It exposed Kevin Hart as a sellout. It exposed Kevin Hart as a pathological liar.
Uh-oh.
This don't look good for Kevin Hart at all. Now, the reason why Stephen A. Smith even wanted to get revenge on Kevin Hart, before we discuss how he got revenge, is because of what Kevin Hart said about him during the roast.
Kevin Hart made a pointed joke about his personal Mount Rushmore of racism.
What?
A list of people he claims hate black people. Alongside Shane Gillis, Kid Rock, Hulk Hogan, Kevin Hart included my name.
Hold on. Well, racism when it comes to for people when it comes to oh man.
Stephen A. Smith. Quote, my Mount Rushmore of racism when it comes to hating black people is Shane Gillis, Kid Rock, Hulk Hogan, Stephen A. Smith. Those are my four people when it comes to hating black people. At least I thought I had a pretty good relationship with Kevin Hart. It's been on my show on many occasions.
So was Kevin Hart playing or was he serious? Because that's a strong word. Hate is a strong word. So I don't know if he was playing around or what.
I've known him for years. I don't know. I've taken a lot of heat because of perceived positions that I may have had. And as a result, you've had some people from the Democratic Party who don't know that I'm aware of the steps and the links that they've been willing to go through to silence me, even though I'm somebody that has religiously voted Democrat, and I support most Democratic views.
This dude is so dramatic, bro. He's so dramatic, man. But I'm glad he's dramatic. I'm glad he's petty, because him being as sensitive as he is why he went and dug up the evidence we needed on Kevin Hart to prove that Kevin Hart is a sellout and an absolute fraud and a liar. But back to Stephen A. Smith. Now, Stephen A. Smith will continue and talk about how disappointed he is at Kevin Hart for making this joke.
Right.
Now, Stephen A. Smith even trying to tie this joke in with apparent Democrats are trying to silence him. So this joke is just one of the effort of people trying to silence him and ruin his name. Stephen A. Smith, you're not a Democrat. You're just not. This nonsense of y'all trying to silence one of your own because I dare take a different stand. You're not a Democrat, bro. I watched you on a podcast, looked at camera dead in his eyes, and say, you don't know a Democrat that has your vote currently. But if you had to vote today, you will vote for Marco Rubio for president. I don't want to hear that nonsense, bro. Marco, come on, man. I don't even need to provide you guys how absurd that is, bro. So the man who is constantly running PR and campaign for J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio is still claiming to be a Democrat in 2026. Man, cut it out, bro. That shame is gone. But here is Stephen A. Smith explaining why he's disappointed in Kevin Hart, why he has such a problem with what Kevin Hart said about him during that roast.
Kevin Hart may have been telling a joke. It may have been the latest tasteless one that he told.
You could tell he hurt from that. That boy hurt.
I have no issue with the joke, if it was a joke. If it wasn't a joke, I still wouldn't have an issue with
Yeah,
it.
you do, man.
I have an issue with the fact that it came from him.
Yeah, you got an issue.
Somebody that I kind of know a little bit, that I got a lot of love and respect for. And at a time in my life, knowing I've spent my life fighting on behalf of my community, that people try to continue this narrative about me that I know is false, but that nevertheless still hurts to hear out of the mouth of anyone who knows me. I could respond more vitriolically, but I won't. More incendiary, but I won't. Because Kevin Hart has never once in his lifetime did anything to me that deserves that. And he's too good of a brother and too good of a human being for me to even consider doing something like that. But it stung. Didn't sting quite as much as a few people who I thought were my friends and loved ones that turned their back.
He said all that pleasantry about Kevin Hart just for him to follow up with exposing Kevin Hart. But Stephen A. Smith being shocked and surprised that people no longer want to associate with him after he turned to a bigot, I don't know how you can be shocked, bro. People don't like white supremacists. People don't like bigots. People don't like bootlickers. People don't like people who hang on to the nutsacks of Trump. People don't like you folks. And it's for good reason. You can never trust a sellout. What use does one have for a sellout in your life? Once you know somebody is compromised, once you know somebody has a price, once you know somebody is willing to go against their own, even the white supremacists, even the racists don't have use for no sellouts. Even they is very suspicious. Even they believe a sellout is untrustworthy and should be treated as such. So if the very same people you turned on us for don't trust you, why should we trust you? But Stephen A. Smith came back today with a piece of information about Kevin Hart that we didn't know. Now, this piece of information ties in with Kevin Hart Breakfast Club interview.
My rebuttal is simplicity. Remove me from it. I didn't say it. If you are upset that the night went on, that's a different conversation. It's nothing I can do. It's a production.
We gotta watch that Breakfast Club, man. We gotta watch that interview. Because I heard people was talking about it. I don't know what he was talking about in that interview. But we gotta tune into that.
Said that you saw the jokes beforehand, so you agreed.
Why am I reading jokes beforehand?
I don't
So I can not
people
laugh,
think.
so I can be in the chair.
You're in charge.
Yeah, you in charge, so people think that everything falls back on you.
You're never guarding, like, you're not acting as a know-all and do-all at the top. Comedians, I need to see everything y'all doing before y'all. That's not what comics do. No comics operate like that. So from Pete to Naeem to Big J to Cheryl to Chelsea, Jeff Ross.
Kevin Hart's response to people saying, hey, man, why did you allow these people to make the tasteless George Floyd joke? Why didn't you do more? Why didn't you step in? Why didn't you do more to make sure that George Floyd legacy isn't disrespected for cheap laughs?
Right.
Kevin Hart says, man, it was a live production. There's nothing I could have done. I didn't see the jokes beforehand. It was a live production. Once he said it, he said it. There's nothing I could have done about it.
Oh, so there was a joke about that? Oh, yeah, I gotta tune in. That's wrong, man. That ain't even cool. So who said that? If y'all know, let me know in the comments. I gotta get caught up, man.
Well, we now know that's a lie and that's not true. And we know that, well, thanks to Stephen A. Smith. Because Stephen A. Smith will drop an absolute bomb on Kevin Hart. Stephen A. Smith will drop a bomb where he says, no, Kevin Hart had all the power. Like, Kevin Hart right, approved for 18 jokes to be removed from the Netflix comedy special.
Yeah.
So Kevin Hart approved that 18 jokes get removed, but Kevin Hart did nothing about George Floyd being disrespected, and then came on the Breakfast Club and disrespected us in our faces by telling us there's nothing he could have done.
Wow.
For me, my thinking stopped at the
That's
18
wrong.
removed jokes. See, I'm an executive producer. I executive produce First Take. I executive produce my Sirius XM shows. I executive produce shows on my YouTube channel. I'm not watching every little thing because I have producers who work under me, and sometimes when stuff is happening in real time, you know what? I'm not there to catch it. I trust that they will. But if I'm watching something, I certainly have the power to make sure that it's edited out.
Right.
I can tell you that much. And if Kevin Hart, as the executive producer, had the power to edit stuff out, which he did, and you left those jokes in, but you took out the Melania Trump joke, we got a problem. I don't know whether that's true or not. I'm taking D.L. Hughley at his word because I didn't watch the whole episode. But I'm taking D.L. Hughley at his word, and he would know. This is his lane. Being a comedian, being a star comedian for many years, knowing the industry and what comes with it, knowing the particulars that what comes with it, I'm going to trust him on this one. The fact of the matter is, if you left that stuff in about George Floyd, left that stuff in about Cheryl Underwood's husband, left that stuff in about slavery and what have you, but you took out Melania Trump. What's that about?
Kevin Hart, you better buckle up. You're in a very bad position.
Yeah. What is that about? Because that's wrong, man. What's going on?
If the sellouts, the people who the black community have abandoned, if they feel like they can now win some brownie points with the black community by throwing you under the bus. What happened to all that? Kevin Hart is a good brother. I'm not going to throw him under the bus. I'm not going to do that. What happened to that?
Right.
It took about 3 days before he found some real dirt on you to come back on his show and get at you. Because if they feel like they can win some points over with the black community, they're going to. And it's not just Stephen A. Smith. Trust me, bro. These sellouts finna come from out the woodwork for you, Kevin. It's over with. Now, if Kevin Hart... Now,
I ain't gonna lie. A lot of people probably ain't gonna watch that show no more because of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real. And that's bad on Kevin Hart. You feel what I'm saying?
I believe this 1,000%. Of course they took out jokes about Melania Trump. Of course. They don't want that smoke. They don't want that smoke. They just don't. They see what happened with Jimmy Kimmel. They don't want that smoke. Kevin Hart don't want that smoke. Kevin Hart don't want the brunt of Trump to come on him.
Right.
But my question would be is, why didn't they feel the same way about black people?
Right.
Are we too lenient? Are we too small, soft? Or like what? Like, yo, we too sweet? Like, we don't make things shake enough? Because they knew, man, you better take out those Trump jokes. Oh, you better take out those Melania jokes. Because they knew when that would have hit, it would have been, Trump would have won World War IV. Why didn't they have the same fear for black folks? Bro, we too lenient, man. Kevin Hart should never be able to sell out another movie, another show again.
Man.
So we could show them, okay, you gotta respect it. You gotta respect the boot. Because they don't respect the boot, but they respect his boot.
And then he talk about like hate jokes. Like that word is very strong, man. Like you can't say that. Like them two, I don't think it should be in a joke for real. Feel what I'm saying? Like that's not cool, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
So you worried about the reaction from Donald Trump?
Right.
And how he might believe something is tasteless, but you're not concerned about the black community and how they would feel about things? As it pertains to George Floyd, slavery jokes, Cheryl Underwood's husband committing suicide, with her right there on stage,
Wow.
etc.
Yeah, that's not cool.
That's
man.
where it gets a bit deeper. To me, that's the most salient point that was put out there. That's the biggest point that was made. Of all the people that complained and all the people that got something to say, the bigger point is the point that D.L. Hughley made. A roast is a roast. Kevin Hart's absolutely right. And you got to expect to be offended. He's absolutely right.
All right.
And you got to expect that some of the material ain't going to be easy to take. He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. But if you edited out 18 jokes, how come it couldn't have been 19? How come it couldn't have been 20? How come it couldn't have been 21? 2 or 3 of those jokes getting removed of all that they were saying. That's where it gets a bit deeper. And that's where I think people have a right to be in an uproar over the George Floyd jokes, over the slavery jokes.
Cat Williams might tell us a joke, but he will never tell us a lie. Go back and hear what he had to say about Kevin Hart, and you tell me if what Cat Williams had to say about Kevin Hart during that Shannon Sharp interview, was that a lie? Do this situation not prove it? Do this situation not prove what Kevin Hart is willing to do? To be in proximity to the power players, to the power brokers, to whiteness? Does this not prove what Kevin Hart is willing to accept? What Kevin Hart is willing to sell out for?
I mean, y'all got to see what Cat Williams said about him. I mean, what he said, it seems to be kind of true. Not gonna lie.
This man had every opportunity to protect black people,
But didn't.
to be a strong black voice in the room. Kevin Hart was the most famous person in that room in terms of the comedians.
Right.
Kevin Hart was the most powerful voice in that room. But Kevin Hart belittled himself, diminished his voice to make the white supremacist feel comfortable. Tony Hinchcliffe is a white supremacist. Let's just be clear here. Like 1,000%, no joke. He's a white supremacist. We've seen enough. But he diminished his own voice to make the white supremacists feel comfortable. Man, Kevin Hart should be, this is just shameful.
Yeah.
Y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this, man? Do y'all believe that Kevin Hart, did anything wrong? Let me know, okay?
I ain't gonna lie, man. To me, that was wrong, man. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, man, you doing all that? Are you letting people say that? Nah, man. Somebody say that, I'm taking that out, man. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, man, let me know down in the comments what y'all think about this video. And yeah, make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and I'll see y'all in the next video.